Interior, here's the key fob with a very nice matte surface here, and when you open the vehicle here, flush door handles come towards you, and then they are manual and give you a very good feedback. There's actually a very nice door closing sound as well, so that's pretty cool. Then this one here, the GT line, has the dark fabric inserts right here, and it doesn't have this yellow on the inside, but the white one. And then here, which is pretty cool, here you have heated seats and option also the cooled seats and heated steering wheel, and with real single buttons. I love that. Also standard window levers, everything easy to control. Optional Harman Kardon sound system you get here as well, with a nice cover, hardback on the inside of the doors here though. And then the GT line also has further black fabric right here, for example. The steering wheel has real buttons and has this dual tone scheme. Drive mode selector is on the lower part, right side for the volume control. And GT line also has here these top spec seats. This is a perforated leatherette. It's very nice quality, very soft and comfortable. Also here in the dual tone scheme once again. And this is, as I said, also then option available with seat cooling. So you get the GT line, already have a lot of options included. And then, yeah, there's, for example, this seat cooling package, which then adds, even more comfort. And let's turn on the ignition. And you can also here move the seats and so on. This then also the electric seat. You can also put it a little bit up in the front part, for example. Lumbar support, and the cool thing is that it's a small vehicle, but it still fits tall adults. And then here with 1A9 6V2, this also fits headroom wise. Steering wheel is manual, up and down, in and out. Very massive, very large steering wheel for such a small vehicle. The only thing I found that with a lot of Hyundais and Kias, you can also see it from the other perspective, that it's always getting a little bit close with my knees with the gear selector, for example. But the main thing is that the seats are very soft and comfortable, and the whole car is animal free, so also at the steering wheel, and they use very good material choices actually, so you have a good build quality. I like that. What's also pretty cool, here in the GT line you also get the front laminated glass. That's also more silent on the motorway. And now here to the cockpit, also with the GT line focus here today, different from the car we will soon going to drive, because we haven't shown you the GT line here for this vehicle yet. And this is really like this most desired one. And yeah, I really love it because of this two-tone scheme, the high-grade leatherette and so on. The seats all look cool. And here the head restraints, by the way, they are then from fabric, and look at that. I mean, especially for this vehicle segment, unusual comfort. Also, when you maybe want to relax at a charging station and so on, it's really nice, soft comfort for you. Oh, I think I would just, drive, relax with my head all the way back all the time like this. Oh, and here we also have a panoramic roof, actually. So you can also get this one that can also be opened. And let's see, because I see there's also a shade. So there we go. And yeah, so when it's really, really hot, you can also close this shade there. That's also cool. Then we have more black fabric for the dashboard here, and manual air vent control here, for example, up and down, left and right. And I also like these manual controls here for the temperature and also for the fan speed. So it's easy to control also while driving. 2x 12.3 inch, these screens, and in the middle you have another like climate screen, but you could use that, but it doesn't make too much sense because you have it in a manual control unit here anyways, right? And this is what I mean here with my knee. So when you're tall, also from the torso, then you don't have it too high, so yeah, that's for my size at least always a problem here with the knee, and we've seen it in many recent Kia and Hyundai models indeed. And then in the lower part we have USB-C chargers here, even 100 watt. That's actually pretty cool. And then there's an inductive charging pad. However, this one is not ventilated, so I would rather use the cable charging. I also like this rather subtle middle console color here. There's, for example, for some cup holders, not adaptive though. This one you can, for example, set in your desired space. There's a lot of space in the middle console, and you've maybe also seen the studio episode. There are also trims which has like these yellow inserts in the middle console and also inside of doors. I don't fancy that much, so I prefer this more subtle dark styling. So there it looks really elegant, I feel. Then here the armrest sets up and even more space underneath. I mean, these surfaces here, Not sure how long they will look good. Let's see about that. So that's maybe the only thing, but everything, you know, from the dashboard, here also manual volume jog and so on, and especially the seat quality and the comfort is really nice. So if we now think, hey, which small EV, which is really nice from the interior and is also comfortable and animal free, and for a small EV already offers a large battery, then this one indeed checks all the boxes. And I also saw that Leah said, she also said like, oh, this GT line here is, it's really fancy. Yes, it will be the most expensive one, but definitely the most fancy one. Here, by the way, the glove box is actually considering quite spacious and also folds down in a slow way. So yeah, really cool. And you have, by the way, more chargers here at the back of the seats. So we'll also take a look at the back part very soon, because there you also have this special thing that you have the 4-seater, but also the 5-seater. Let's take a look now to the rear seats here in the GT line and the 4-seater. And this is really exciting, because in the 4-seater, it's just about a €300 option. Here you can slide this forward or backward for more trunk space or more legroom. Isofix outside, and the 4-seater here has 2 large seats. So although you have a small car, you have very good comfort in the rear because it's extremely wide. This is how I would be driving here. And then there's still legroom left. So this is like a really like a room or space wonder, so to speak. That's pretty cool. And it's also an SUV. That means the angle of the legs is not too bad. And I still fit in here space-wise. So this is a very clever vehicle. And by the way, these you can use for jacket hangers. You can use them also to like get up, for example, get in. If I think about maybe I carry my grandparents along, USB-C charging in the seats and 100 watt each again. And in the lower part, even floor, you also have a real power socket, for example. And I really love this rear seats. This is probably the best rear seat comfort for a small car. And I mean, considering that I have here, and here when the passenger seat is a little bit more forward, you have even more legroom. So this is really great and so flexible as well. So they really paid attention, you know, to the everyday practicability. And here you can also change the inclination, more upright, more cargo position, or then, what the, look at that. I mean, this is very cool. I mean, this car is barely 4 meters long. This is really crazy. So I think this is also one of the most like significant unique selling points of this vehicle, that you can use it for many different purposes and that it just delivers a lot for the exterior dimensions. So the competitors might have a problem with that. 5-seater, 360 liters, the 4-seater, 400 liters. Why is that? First of all, here the 4-seater has this cover. You can also remove that, and then you also can just clip it in like this. But if we remove everything, then you can see actually that underneath there is also some more space, and you could also remove this whole thing as well. At the moment it's then here connected. You can also, you know, unconnect it basically. It's also possible. And then here the cool thing is you can slide it backward and forward and then also gain more trunk length like this. So that's pretty cool. And of course you can also fold it like this. You have this even transition to that, but you can also just fold it from here because it's, you know, close enough. There we go. And so you're also very flexible here, especially with the 4-seater. And I think that's why also here, yeah, with this function, the 4-seater is actually way to go. There you can see, you know, how the difference are when you put it backward or then in the inclination forward again, or forward like this, backward and so on. Yeah, this is really fun. And as a comparison here, the earth trim on the interior. Here we have fabric seats all the way and in these rather subtle colors, and yeah, looks also quite nice. Usually it's often the case that fabric seats are even more comfortable from the surface. Here in this case, I have the feeling somehow that the leatherette GT line seats are a little bit more comfortable. And of course, you can also equip them with the seat cooling. And the only thing is here, I mean, when you're a tall adult in the front, it's not only the thing here with the shifting, but also in general, you know, like when I'm sitting here and how my knees are bent. So I would say that maybe the only thing I can find here is that it's not the most ideal position for tall people, let's say, for people with long legs in the front. That's maybe the thing. And somehow I had the feeling that the GT line seat maybe is a little bit better. And here also, this is the base steering wheel. So the GT line steering wheel, you remember, had a dual tone scheme and also this 3-spoke design, and this one has this you see what I mean? This design? Yeah, once you see it, you cannot unsee it. And Leah has discovered some very interesting themes in the infotainment system, because you can see here, this is the National Geographic scheme.
The
so
lion.
Oh, this is like our avatar then is the car. And look at that. Oh, these small animal kids. Oh, here as the symbols, and they have different schemes. I heard they have even a Star Wars scheme, and the World Cup scheme now, like for the FIFA World Cup.
Even when you park, I think.
It's like, I think when we shut down the vehicle, and then I think when we start, what was it? Or when you open the door, let's see, what was it? Ah, there, yeah, when you open the door, there we go. See also here, like the car is a leopard then now. Here, by the way, after about 2 minutes of loading time, this is the official FIFA World Cup scheme. So you can also, you know, make yourself on the way to the World Cup then. Now the 5-seater going through bench comparison, and here you can see why the 4-seater is so important here, because I have hardly any legroom here. Why is that? The fixed bench in the 5-seater is basically in the middle position of the 4-seater. So the 4-seater, you can slide the bench forward or backward, and here it's always, you know, in that middle position, as if you would slide the 4-seater slidable bench exactly in the middle. That's why hardly any legroom here. You have a little bit more trunk length than, yes, but you cannot just vary it. So this vehicle here, definitely way to go for the 4-seater with a slidable bench. Just in the measurements, they are kind of similar here, because you have 1.40 meters in width. Then the middle length measure is here about 60 centimeters, 23 inches. And then the total length is 1.35 meters, 53 inches. And well, the height is the question. I mean, you can have this storage right there. And for the height, you can also take out that whole thing here. So, yeah, that's actually quite cool. And then we can have this maximum height of some 85 centimeters or 34 inches. Wow.